Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Curious to know what you're on fire about. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the On Fire podcast with.
Oh, is that our new name?
Oh God, no, because that'll pigeonhole us into being like rant only. We can rant, and we need to taper off the ranting.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's true.
We're trying to be better, Steve.
Trying.
Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve. My name is Joel,
and I'm Steve,
and this is a podcast.
It is a podcast.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good. I've had a nice little Saturday on a Sunday morning.
You've had well, when I asked you how you were doing before we started recording, you said you're on fire.
I'm on fire, baby.
With joy, with electricity, with vigor.
I'm feeling it. I'm here for it.
Okay. What are you here for? What's going on today?
Well, I got up and I watched a little Formula One.
Who won?
That was actually genuinely exciting. And then I went outside and did some spring yard work and home maintenance stuff.
Yeah,
and I taught myself how to do a couple things that I needed to get done. And
that's awesome.
That's what I'm saying. And so my testosterone levels are pretty high. I'm feeling, and I'm winning Suburbia, the game. I'm leveled up. So,
okay. I want to address a couple of those things. I watched qualifying last week or the week before. I can't remember. But who won? Who won the race?
Well, Max Verstappen won, of course. But this race,
he's on fire.
He is on fire. But this race was. I mean, sometimes the races are kind of well, we know how this is going to play out, and might as well just go do something else. But today was one of the it isn't over till the checker flag drops.
Oh,
because there was three actual starts to this race. And then a soft start, a rolling start on the last lap.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because on the second to the last lap, Kevin Magnussen blew out a tire because he nicked a wall, and so that caused a red flag, which stops the race. I mean, the drivers pull into the pits, and Fernando Alonso had been chasing Hamilton. What's his first name? Lewis Hamilton. I mean, those two guys have been dogging it out for 30 laps. And then at the very 2 lap, so they have to stop the race. Everybody gets out of their cars, and they do a full with the lights and everything formation.
That was on the last lap? On
second to the last lap.
Oh, Jesus.
And then you know how it is on the first lap, when the lights go out, it's chaos.
Yeah, everybody muscles for another to move up.
Well, and I mean, there's almost always an accident right at that first corner. Somebody gets knocked off. This time, 4 cars knocked off.
Dude,
the Alpine team took themselves out. They literally ran into each other.
That's gotta be so heartbreaking though, because they were about to finish. I mean, finishing it in itself is
it was bedlam. I mean, so many accidents at one time. Who just hit? What the hell is happening? And so only 13 of 20 cars finished the race.
Jesus.
And the last, because 4 cars took themselves out on lap 57 and 58.
That's insane.
It was insane. And then they had to stop the race again, and then they just did a rolling last lap.
Mm-hmm.
But Sergio Perez, who didn't even set a qualifying time because he screwed up on the first lap of qualifying, didn't set a time, so he started at the back. He finished in points anyway, and it was just crazy. The whole thing was,
I'm curious too about this hard left turn. Sorry, I'm curious because I did a walking of the grounds yesterday. I walked in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what needs to be done. There's a few things. What did you teach yourself that you needed to know how to do?
You're gonna laugh. I wasn't sure how to restring my weed trimmer.
That's legit.
Yeah.
No laughter there. That's legit.
I don't know what to do here. I have this spool of cord and a thing, and so you YouTube answers. It ended up being, well, it didn't know exactly the way the dude in the YouTube was because there was something stuck in mine. So I had to like take the assembly apart. That's what I was proud of. It's like, it's not going through. It's not working. Like, what the heck? So instead of, saying, fuck this and throwing the weed trimmer and thanks to my meditation practice, I was able to just say, this is just a thing and let's just be where our hands are. And I'm just going to, and I'll just take it apart. Let's
see how this works. Let me see how this is conditioned.
And I'm sort of like mechanically proficient, right?
What kind of weed whacker do you have?
Ryobi.
Oh, so that's the same one I have. So like, yeah, if there's a like it on the surface, it should be just take cartridge out, put cartridge in.
Mine doesn't have cartridges. It's a spool. You like thread it and then pull out equal lengths and then wind it up. I don't have cartridges.
You got a little fancier one than I have.
I used to have one that had cartridges, and that was a little bit easier, maybe, but also like now that I know how to do this one, it'll be less expensive and longer lasting, hopefully.
Right. Nice.
But yeah. And then I had a moment because I needed to. This is like I needed to move Holly's van. So I could get my mower out and stuff. Like I need to move it. And so like the key that I have to her car is broken off the fob. Right. So like there's the fob and then there's the key. So I just put the key in because I just need to back it up. I mean, I just need to start it up and back it out of the garage. And it would kind of turn over and then die. And I'm like, that's not good. Kind of turn over, die. Kind of turn over, die. I'm like, what the? And I thought, wait a minute. So I went in and got the fob and brought it out with it, and then it turned over and stayed running. So it's like a security thing.
Oh, if it doesn't have that with it, it won't stay running.
Right.
That tracks.
So I need to get that fixed or whatever. Anyway, that was that moment of like, cool. So now I get to deal with a broken car on Sunday.
Yeah.
I had that moment, but again, didn't freak out. Didn't, just like, well, all right. I guess this is what we're doing.
There's a lot of wisdom in that because there have been times where I have gone into full on meltdown mode. If there's one minor inconvenience.
Right.
Like,
well, that's the thing that, Clancy from Up in the Sky talks about is it's not the big stuff. It's the broken shoelace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why did you freak out? Well, my shoelace broke.
I can recall one time where I have several of these, and I'm sure my family can email in with many more.
Oh, speaking of, your mom emailed.
Yes, I know. She made sure to tell me that she emailed.
She did. Yeah, it was a nice email.
We'll get to that, Mom.
Sure.
But I
haven't replied yet.
The email, the lawnmower several years ago, a previous lawnmower ago.
Oh, I remember this.
It wouldn't start. It couldn't get to start. There was like, I don't know. I think there was something that, I don't know. The starter was off, or I don't remember if it was the one I had like mice living in or something. I took my really nice prescription sunglasses and snapped them in half. Right. Like,
did that fix your lawnmower problem?
It didn't. It did not. I thought it might, and it didn't. So
was it cathartic?
No, because then I just felt. Then I was just mad because I didn't have prescription sunglasses anymore.
Let's say that moment of that brief, fleeting nanosecond of I feel better now. Now I don't feel better.
Now I do not feel better.
Now I feel worse.
Yeah.
On top of feeling worse. It's like double worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom in like minor inconvenience. Take a breath, recognize that it sucks, but take a moment and then troubleshoot and problem solve.
Well, because it's not just a minor inconvenience though, it's a failure as a human. It's a failure as a person.
Yes.
I can't change the stupid weed whacker line.
I can't win. I can't win suburbia the game
Exactly.
if my weed whacker isn't
I mean,
threaded
the stakes are a lot higher now. I got to
because
edge my yard.
I'm identifying all of this stuff with my self-worth.
Yes, and also no, because I really don't give a shit. But but I do, want to keep up appearances for the because
Well,
I have to do my part to maintain the neighborhood property values. That's what's important.
defund the HOA, baby.
Mercifully, we do have HOA dues, but they're not exorbitant, and so far they've left us alone. So
There you go.
yeah, as long as I can
There's
keep my chicken, I'm good.
but those minor inconveniences, if they affect my time or my money, I'm going to lose it. If I don't have any,
Right.
if I'm not practicing anything.
Well,
right?
the weed trimmer thing. I mean, I knew that. I'm like, I went into that in a pretty decent headspace.
Right.
Like, we're just gonna figure out how to do this. Not a big deal. But when like I was like, I'm doing the same thing the guy in the video is. That's when the pressure started to rise a little bit. Like, he's making it look so easy. Why is it not? This is not working.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not how this. And so I'm like, well, I went and I literally am like, well, it's a straight shot through. It has to be because it looks like it. So then I went and clipped off part of a wire coat hanger.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because I thought, well, maybe it's getting cold. I don't know. So I stuck it and it definitely like stopped like a third of the way through. And I'm like, oh, there's something jamming up the works. And sure. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm now taking this apart, which was not in the video,
Right. Well, there could have been another video for that.
Maybe, but I got the tools out and I'm like, okay, so I took it apart, and sure enough, there was just a little bit of like line kind of stuck in the mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So, I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, because without any patience or tolerance,
yeah, I would have been.
That would have ruined and ended up in the lake.
Kind of, yeah.
Your
right.
house.
It would have been. Yeah. It would have been right, and then I thought, well, shit, I guess I'll mow the yard, and then tried to, start the van, and it wouldn't have started, and then it would have just been over.
He would have just driven into the lake.
Well, I couldn't drive the van.
That's true.
I would have had to get into my car and drive that into the lake.
Or just walk slowly into the water.
That's right. Making sure that at least 2 or 3 people are watching it.
Everybody look out your window. I'm gonna do something dramatic.
Exactly. And they all be like, we always knew he was kind of like that.
Yeah, this tracks. Anyway, let's get to Home Depot.
Pretty much, yeah. The stock isn't gonna springify itself.
It's an interesting topic you bring up though, because since being a homeowner, there have been things that I have, like, Kirsten has asked me, like, what about this? Or what about, this thing? Or maybe we could do this. And because I don't know, I get defensive.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I take that personally some weird, like you mentioned testosterone masculinity. There is some sort of conditioning that I must have experienced at some point where I must know.
Yeah, it was called, Tool Time with Tim Allen.
Exactly. It was Home Improvement. Yeah. I blame coked up Tim Allen on a fake TV show.
Right.
Damn it.
Right.
Yeah. That we were supposed to know how to do everything.
Well, that's what men do.
They do everything.
Men fix the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to fix the house, but I've learned. I mean, I learned. I think the first thing that I kind of did that I felt like, wow, I can figure out a thing is it was something to do with gutters, like cleaning out the downspouts or something like that. And I was like, wow. Oh, and there was no like landlord to call. Right.
Right. Hey, my thing doesn't work.
Yeah. And yeah. And so since then it's been fumbling, trial and error. Oh, one of the things too is like the doorknob wasn't locking right. So I had to put a new doorknob. And then the other thing was like a storm door. I had to like install a storm door. We bought a new door and I'm like, oh, this will just be a couple screws. It was like 6 hours later. But, like that is a really, dare I say, potent space for me, where it's either I'm going to lose it or I'm going to dive in and learn. And sometimes I've lost it and sometimes I've dove in and learned.
Well, this is probably 17 years ago now. But at our old house, in fact, it was after one of the short version of the story is that I had to replace a seal on a toilet in my upstairs bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And because it leaked and we had a party before, and there was like a little tiny leak in it because it wasn't sealed exactly perfectly, and if you flushed it once or like 3 or 4 times a day, it was no big deal. But we had a party, so it got used, multiple times over the course of the night.
Right.
And I'm in the downstairs bathroom, which is right underneath the upstairs bathroom at the end of the night. And I look up and the ceiling looks funny. And I'm like, that's weird. And I touched it and it went.
Oh, God.
And just water and wet drywall and all. And I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours about he's like, I'm like, I plumber. And he's like, do you have a screwdriver? Like you can replace a wax seal. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. You're going to throw the gauntlet. I'll do it. I have a screwdriver. I don't know anything about home maintenance. I've had a house now for a matter of months, but sure, I can do this. So I go down to the hardware store, which is like a half a mile away from our house. They give me a wax ring. I'm like, great. So I go home, take the toilet off and all that entails. I'm like, that's actually going pretty well, all things considered. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just pull the old wax ring off, put the new wax ring on, put the toilet on the new wax ring, ratchet it down, flush it, go downstairs. There's a little bit of water coming out. I'm like, fuck. God. So I get in the car and I go down to the hardware store and I get another wax ring. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I do.
So I drive back home and I drain the toilet and take it off and scrape off the new wax ring that's now the old wax ring. And I really, I'm looking, I'm like, this looks good. It looks like it says on the diagram. It looks like it's on the flange. This should be fine. Great. Put the toilet back on, screw it down, flush it, go downstairs. There's a little bit of water coming out. I'm like, God damn it. So I get in the car and I go back to the hardware store and they're like, oh boy. And I'm like, give me 2 wax rings. And they're like, give me 2 wax rings. So I get my 2 wax rings and I drive home and I take the toilet off and I put the wax ring off and I take 2 wax rings and I shove it because it turns out that the previous owner of the home liked to do home remodeling.
Mm-hmm.
And they put a new floor on the upstairs bathroom that was just high enough that the toilet didn't exactly squish the wax ring enough.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that leak had been happening since they'd done that floor. And so in the middle of all this, my wife and your wife had been out. My wife went out and got her hair cut off.
Yeah.
Like she has long hair, but she decided to try a bob thing. So this was like a major life thing for her.
And you were prepared for this emotionally for her, weren't you?
I was totally there for her because I'm in the middle of taking the toilet off for the 4th time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm totally insane. And in comes Holly and Kirsten. And I'm like, your hair looks great. Fuck. I was not there emotionally on any level. And Holly's like, this is not what I ordered.
I kind of had different hopes for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't great. So later on,
I gotta know, did the 2 wax rings do the trick?
It did actually. It kind of worked. Yeah.
Amazing.
Because you just squish them together and it seals. But we ended up later having an actual plumber come out and had to rebuild the flange on the drain thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Note to anybody that's considering buying an older home, if it looks like the previous owners were, doing remodeling, buyer beware.
Yeah. Yeah.
because the people that remodeled our house did things that weren't up to snuff, to include the plumbing on the kitchen sink, which did very strange things in the upstairs bathroom when you ran the garbage disposal. Like, if you like to see the stuff that you're disposing in the kitchen sink in your bathroom sink.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No, that doesn't sound like that's how that should work.
No, it's not. Actually, it's supposed to go down. Instead, it just went sideways and up. So we had to have that redone. And
Yeah.
it was fun. Because, of course, we knew so much going into home ownership. We bought the house based on the fact that Holly liked the closet and it had 2 garages. That was like, well, then we're good.
Yeah. Well, I think my father-in-law saved us from buying a complete lemon of a house.
Really?
Yeah. We were like, oh, it aesthetically looks really cool. It's an older house near south. It was like, This is great. He took one look at the basement. It was like, you guys are, no, don't buy that house. It's fucked. I think Daryl, our friend Daryl, came over and looked at it, said the same thing. Know. And we're like, okay, yep. But yeah, you don't. I mean, that's an allegory for all things, right? It's like you can. Why I struggled with for years, and I think still certain moments, like, why would you judge yourself for not knowing something you just don't know?
Have you met me?
Well, that's the thing. I do the same thing, right? Kirsten will ask, the
baseline is I'm not enough. I'm a terrible person, and I'm going to be judged by this.
But every time it's
failure.
But Kirsten, I mean, and this is like real truth, vulnerability stuff. I have noticed, not just because it's Kirsten, but other people. But she's like the person around me most of the time,
right?
That I can hear like questions like, "Hey, what do we think about like?" Why is that stair not level? I don't know. I'm just bringing up an example. And it's like, what she said was, hey, that stair's a little wonky. What I heard was, you're a piece of shit. And why don't you know everything? like that.
Right. Immediately. That's the visceral, natural, default, hormonal reaction.
Yes.
Right. You're not enough.
You suck.
You're
horrible.
You're
recently,
a terrible person.
It's starting to warm up around Nebraska. I saw a couple of bugs in just like just regular bugs that happen. You know?
House bugs.
Bugs.
Right.
It's not like we're infested with something.
Right. And as far as you know, you might be.
We'll see.
Right.
It was like
why did you let your house get termites?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, why am I taking that personally? It's like somehow the natural world seeking warm shelter is somehow an indication of my worth.
Well, you weren't proactive. You didn't get the bug spray. Clearly, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking at a weird little crack in my wall right now. And I'm like, I don't know if that's getting bigger or not, but somehow that's my fault.
There was a weird little crack in our living room in the old house. And it was there when we moved in. And we lived in the house for 16 years. And it took probably 5 years before I stopped worrying about that crack.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's clearly a sign that the foundation is sinking, and this is going to cost more money than we will ever have to fix. Yeah. And this was a terrible mistake. And oh my God. And it never changed. It was fine.
Okay. But somehow, every time I see that imperfection, I'm going to magnify it into how I'm a horrible person and don't know it. That was
the one thing about our last house, is that the foundation was rock solid.
Yeah.
Like, we never had water issues. There were no like basement problems along those lines, other than some plumbing related things, but that's different.
We had water issues the first few months we lived here.
Oh, I remember that. Swingman came and helped you.
Yeah, that was because there was no drainage in the ground. It had nothing to do with our basement and everything to do with the water couldn't move anywhere. So it was seeping through our windowsill.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was a whole thing. Like Swingman came over and we like literally dug a trench and put a French drain in and all that. And that's the thing too. Like I'm really trying to unpack this like philosophically, mindfully. You also have to have friends that know how to do different shit.
Right.
You
Takes
can't.
a village. Either that or you have to have money. And you just call Thrasher and pay them tens of thousands of dollars.
Right. Yeah. I guess if you have enough money, you don't have to have good friends. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not to get your house fixed.
Right. But you need, I mean, like asking for help, realizing you don't have to know it all, that not every imperfection is a reflection of you. Like,
well, I'm going to have to sit with that for a minute.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know,
man. That window not moving up and down has something to do with, me being a piece of shit in high school. Somehow I should have learned how to do that.
Should have learned how to do that.
And if you don't have friends, have YouTube, Yeah,
YouTube does help a lot, actually.
It really does.
Mm-hmm. I need those of you that know me know I have a Honda Element vehicle.
Yes.
That we had forever, since 2005.
Philip.
And it's Philip. And Philip is now having a mechanical problem that happens to older Hondas with this engine in it. And it's pretty common and it's really pretty easy to fix. And so I've been weighing, like, should I try to fix it? But it involves probably getting motor oil all over the place. And it also means that if I do it wrong, that he's hobbled. Because right now, Philip will drive as long as you don't take the engine up above about 3,000 RPM. Then it cuts out because there's a solenoid that's bad. And it's very, like, I know what the problem is. And there's two potential solutions. One's real easy, and the other one's a little bit more involved. But both of them involve motor oil, which I don't want to deal with. And like in terms of having to like drain it and like potentially getting it everywhere. And also, like if I do it wrong, then it just won't run. Because right now I can drive it to a shop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I'm trying, and it'll probably, like, if I try to do it myself and the first fix worked, it'd cost $25 and take probably an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If everything goes just exactly perfectly, which it always does.
Always does, especially when you've never done something like that before.
Right. And I may or may not have the correct tools. I think I do, because I looked that part. I think I have the tools. But there's just enough there that, like, I'm probably going to pay somebody to deal with it.
Yeah, this sounds like another wax ring situation.
Kind of, yeah. Like, oh, this looks pretty easy. And then you get into it, and there's motor oil everywhere, and I'm throwing a wrench across the garage. Go, fuck.
Can you at least get it to workshop, and then you can get motor oil all over his place?
Yeah. I don't know. He's, this is past guest Terry Warwick, who I love, and would probably help me. But Terry, if you're listening, I'm not going to bother you with this because I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah, it's not a Lotus. Come on.
It's not a Lotus or a Porsche, and he's got his hands full with all of that. So, yeah. That's one of those things, like, don't, like, in the past, Terry's been very generous and helped me with various automotive difficulties.
Yeah.
But I'm in a position now where I can probably handle this one on my own.
What would it cost? Like, is the cost to risk ratio enough?
Oh, the cost, like, total maybe $300
at a shop or to yourself? Oh,
that's what I'm saying. That's like somebody that knows what they're doing and has tools and can drain the oil and do all that. Because, like, I don't do oil changes. I don't. That's
no. Mm-mm.
No.
Dave, past guest David Gracie gave me a hard time because I still take my car to the dealership for oil changes. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I take mine to N Street Quick Lube.
I know, but it's like I want a clean bill of health from the dealership.
Well, I understand that. I took the Element. I didn't get the oil change there every while, but I always did 10,000 mile services at the dealership because I wanted that receipt.
But this sounds like what happened to me this summer and I talked to you about this, fixing my garage door.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I got the part. Oh, I got the wrong parts, but I got the
that's easy to
right
do.
Parts enough to like fix the spring because the spring broke, and my garage door is like freaking heavy, right?
Yeah.
And so I got it, and then actually our friend Elisa Wilson's cousin helped me because he was in town. He's like, "Oh, I've done this before," so we got it to kind of work, right? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, he had to go. And I'm like, he's like, if you do this thing to the spring, you should be able to get it to go. Or you go get a different weight test size spring. You should be able to make it work.
It was not balanced.
Yeah, well, it was balanced, but it was like I needed a higher tension of the spring. And it's like, if you just replace it with the higher tension, it should be okay. I'm like, great, I'll do that by myself. And I'm looking at it after the next day. I'm like, it's not really working, but maybe if I got that, it'd work. And I'm like, the thought came to me, Steve. I was like, I should just look to see if somebody can come and look at it. And if I can, if I need to fix it, then I can fix it. Anyway, if I'll fix it, or I'll pay this guy to fix it. So this guy's like, yeah, I'll come look at it. And if I need to do it, obviously I'm going to charge you. I'm like, great. So he comes to look at it. He's like, hey man, you did this all wrong. He's like, if this would have broken, you could die.
That's true.
Because the garage door could fall on somebody, something. You didn't have the safety.
The springs will take your head off.
Exactly, and it wasn't safety to the garage itself. So I'm as your friend, I'm going to say, hey man, if it's $300 to fix, I'd hate for something to go wrong while you or your child is driving Philip.
Right. So, Dad, the car caught on fire.
Yeah.
That actually happened when I was a kid. We had this neighbor, and they had this car that they had 3 daughters, and all the kids drove this car. It was a 1960, let's say 8 Ford Galaxy.
Nice.
And it was called the Blue Bomb, right?
Right.
And I mean, everybody knew it. You could smell it coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as my memory tells me, and this could be a little suspect, but they took it to the Dairy Queen at 70th and A, which is now that Amigos and Clock Tower. And while they were eating their ice cream, the car caught on fire in the parking lot.
While they were in it?
No. They were inside Dairy Queen eating their, cone crunch or whatever. And they look out and the blue bombs, burning.
Oh, that's on fire now. Yeah, you don't want that, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But I understand the desire, like the satisfaction of I fixed the fucking car.
Yeah.
It's so tempting.
Yeah. Well, and that's that's the dream. Like, I can fix it.
You should be able to do it.
I should be. I'm a smart person.
Plus, I also, it's like I see myself as Ralphie at the front of the class when he's daydreaming about getting the A+++++.
Yeah.
Right? That if I fix, oh, dude, that's fucking exactly what happened this last week.
What happened?
Okay, so
you bought your teacher a fruit basket?
No, I didn't buy my teacher a fruit basket, but I had this fantasy that both my wife. Okay. So okay.
If you were gonna say my wife and my
mother-in-law would like shower me, but it gets even darker than that. It's like my wife and the friend she's with would sing my praises while they're at dinner because I did this great thing. Anyway, so I'm going to tell the story. Okay. My mother-in-law has this chair that my father-in-law loves, but she hates. She wants out of her sight. Right?
I understand that.
So there's this chair. There's a great chair. It's just aesthetically not great.
I understand.
And there's been a couple of chairs.
It's like Fraser's dad's chair.
It is. It's exactly that dynamic. It's Fraser's dad's chair, right? And I mean, essentially, whatever Marsha wants, she's going to get because she has the aesthetic rule of the house, right? So that's fair. And so we did a little chair swap for Kirsten's 40th birthday at their house. So I was convinced the one we moved was the one that was supposed to get out of sight. So I get a text from my mother-in-law say, hey, can you guys come over this weekend and move this chair downstairs? And I'm like, you know what? I bet you I can do it right now.
Do it right now.
By myself.
Did you put a cape on?
I put a cape on. I put the mask on. I put an athletic cup on.
Nice. Serious.
So I'm like, I'm going to go straight home from work. I'm going to go straight there from work and fix this for them. They weren't home. I was like, they're going to come home and the chairs have been swapped. She said it's the orange chair, right? And I'm like convinced it's the one chair that we moved. Anyway, audience, I don't know if you know this, but I am pretty colorblind. So not only did I have the wrong chair, I was like, looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's orange. That's totally orange. I got this. And I like move this fucking high back chair downstairs by myself. I take a photo of the chair, send it to my mother-in-law and my wife while she's at dinner with her cool friend. I see them like Ralphie and the teacher in my mind, just like Joel is a hero. He just kissing the crowd. And then like 20 minutes later, my mother-in-law says, that's not the orange chair in the text. That's not the orange chair. Just that's it. So I had like 20 minutes where I was, you
were king of the world.
King of the world. I am a hero. I'm a can-do guy that can fix things. I'm of service to all the people in my life. I rescue damsels in distress. I know how to fix motors. I can re-roof your house. I built a four-wheeler. I'm MacGyver and John Wayne. That's the wrong chair. That's not the orange chair.
It's the wrong chair. You can't do anything right.
I went from that fantasy world to you're a goof.
You're a goof.
You're a total dolt.
That's such a great word.
Dude, okay. I was sitting at this chair, this couch, and Kirsten came home and she was laughing at me. And I had to have a bit of humility, right? I was like, oh yeah, I'm a goof. I'm like, I'm just a total dolt. She'd never heard that word. She's like,
really?
Yeah, it is a great word. Dolt. You look it up, and the definition in Google just says an idiot or stupid person.
That's one of those words that sounds like what it means.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dolt.
I'm a dolt. Yeah.
Oh God, that's great. Thanks for sharing that, because that's like good stuff right there.
Because it was like something, just moving a chair downstairs was like I had painted it in my brain.
Oh, I get it.
Like,
wait a minute. I can do this.
Well, like Kirsten, I like made sure to text her and her mom in that thread so that Kirsten would share it with her. Look at my husband.
Look at my husband.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. He's a man's man.
He's a man's man. He'll do anything for me, my family, anyone in the community. He rescues kittens from trees. He saves children from burning buildings.
He picks up heavily intoxicated people from Walmart to try to help them.
I did do that. Steve.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. Yep. I picked. Yeah.
That's such a great. That was. It was really good to be around somebody that was so intoxicated that they didn't know what planet they were on again.
Yeah. In the world of recovery, folks, sometimes I was talking to somebody, a sponsor, about this. Like, if we go to these meetings with people that are like showered and sober, and you think that we get removed from the real shit of being an alcoholic drug addict until you get a call. It's like, hey, there's this guy that I think you could help. Here's his number. I call him. He's hiding out in a bathroom at a Walmart. So you put another guy in your car and you're like, go pick this guy up. Man, and just that happened on Friday, and that was just like,
just for the people listening that may or may not, deal with this sort of thing on a regular basis. I am by no means trying to make light of this person's plight.
No, not at all.
Other than the fact that his problems were definitely of his own making. But he's also really sick, so
Yeah. And that, so it's what we do that. We do that in communities of recovery. Sometimes people call us and like, I don't know what to do with this guy. And luckily recovery groups like the ones we are involved in and other people are involved in, Like it's a safe place for somebody to be for an hour. Because I thought about that. If you're experiencing homelessness and you're in full flight from reality and you're an alcoholic drug addict, there's not a lot of places that'll let you just chill.
There's
You know what I mean?
fewer of them now.
And yeah, and
as
so
we
like
found
come
out
to
Friday night.
yeah, so that was the frustrating thing that, right now we are in a bit of a weird void in Lincoln, Nebraska, that there's not a proper detox drunk tank situation where you can just drop somebody off and they will, get a ham sandwich, a cup of coffee, a bed to sleep it off in, and then processing them to a treatment facility. That doesn't really exist right now.
Nope.
But I did a little digging. Well, case in point, like somebody's like, call the non-emergency number.
Mm-hmm.
So I call the non-emergency number. They say, call the bridge. So I call the bridge, and the bridge's like, have you tried calling non-emergency? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, So right now we're in this vacuum in Lincoln where there's not an intake place like that. Apparently Centerpoint is constructing that right now. We will see how that goes.
Right.
But I had a bit of an emotion.
That was, I mean, you said it. It was like we Friday night witnessed the violence inherent in the system
by inaction.
Yeah.
Like sometimes violence is oppression and abuse and harm, like outward physical harm or legislation for harm. And sometimes it's just like systems just sort of not renewing a contract and being like, yeah, I don't really want to do that anymore. And like by inaction, and I'm not blaming, I'm sure there's reasons why, but blaming like
money
or like, yeah, inaction is violence sometimes. Like there's no place.
I was thinking about that situation, just like, well, I mean, you've seen it. This is not like Lincoln, Nebraska not renewing its whatever drunk tank contract with the bridge is a very small drop in a very large bucket in terms of the social safety net just being gone, essentially. Witness the homeless encampments and it's rampant. You see it. I see we saw it like down in Kansas City, the people camping out on the interstate where the clover leaves are, people camping out in the middle of those. I mean, like that's, and I believe me, I know all too well. There's a line of thought around that, which is fuck them.
Yeah. Right.
They're not even human.
Right.
And
they're a scourge on the society. And I mean, that's complicated too, because it's like, there may be places for folks like that to go, but the rules inherent in them actually being admitted to those places are not something that they can really accept at that point, which is a whole other issue, right? It's like you have to blow zeros to walk in and get a cot tonight. It's like, well, if I don't drink a little today, I'm gonna have a seizure and die. So what do you like? There's just the complicated issue of, and it caused me that night on Friday to like see, like you said, see the violence inherent in the system and realize that there's a system that's like the same folks on Sunday morning saying things like, yes, what we do unto the least of these, we do unto me or whatever. And it's like, well, this is the least of these. And let's see, who did you vote for to cut programs and cut spending on this? Like, how do you feel about having spaces for these people to get help? And it's like, well, that's different. I don't want to spend. Not when Jesus was talking about the least of these, he didn't mean legislation on, drug addiction or people experiencing homelessness. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what I think he meant. But, keep fucking that chicken.
Right.
So anyway, that was a stark reminder that like I was talking to after we took that gentleman to, thank you for joining me to that.
Sure.
I'm taking that gentleman to the ER.
I did that to help me as more than anything.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's a byproduct of that, right? Like,
sure.
we take out a little insurance against another relapse if we get to see where we're headed, right?
Right.
But I went to El Chaparro just to connect to some other humans after all that went down, and
I kind of bailed on you.
And past guest Sadie Thompson she kind of cut through. She's like, I haven't done that sort of thing for a while. I don't think I've done one of those since before COVID, and it was one of those things. It was like really, really a stark reminder that, and since to kind of sprinkle in some Buddhist philosophy, like I am that guy. He is me. Like we are all kind of each other.
Yeah,
we are interconnected, and like, yes, the circumstances are different, but if you can't ground yourself in helping however you can with whatever unique abilities you have, when you forget that helping other people also helps you, it is you kind of disconnect from yourself a little bit. And I had realized that I'd been doing that, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, like it was really heart opening.
Agreed.
And made me frustrated that there's not places for people to get that kind of immediate care,
Well, because if, you hadn't gotten a call, I mean, if somebody hadn't gone and, gotten this guy from the Walmart bathroom, I mean, where would he have ended up?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I don't know. Yeah.
And, that for me, it was the stark reminder of, well, A, but for the grace of God, go I.
Yeah.
And B, like, that's the reality of the situation.
Right.
Like, we can be upset at the situation all we want, but the reality of it is if you burn every bridge you have and then are in full flight from reality, the circumstances are not going to be great.
Yes. That there's some responsibility, not just on the community to rescue people all the time, but it's also like, if you burn every bridge you have, and it's like I like to talk about recovery being like a subway car. Like if you're waiting and the doors open and you don't get on you don't know when the next one's coming, right? There's a limited opportunity for you to say yes.
By the way, the transit cops are going to come and kick you out of the station.
Exactly. Like our refusal of basic help of people offering it puts you in another space of even more dire circumstances every time.
Well, I mean, that's the reality of addiction, is the options are jail, insanity, and death.
Yeah, that's kind of all roads lead to those.
Right. That's where it's going to end up one way or another. And so, and that, I think is true. And that's, as well as I do, that even if there is a safety net, there's alcoholics and addicts that are going to burn through that too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've worked with enough people that are just working the system.
Yeah.
Nice little loop of, halfway house treatment, jail, halfway house treatment, jail, halfway house treatment, jail, because it's 3 hots on a cot.
Right.
And like, if that's what you aspire to, then, I mean, I guess, what do you do with that?
Yeah, it's like when you mentioned the metaphor of a safety net, I just see like, being caught from falling off a cliff with the safety net, and here I am gnawing through the cords of the safety net.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I can't, get me out of here,
Right. Yeah.
Because it feels like I'm trapped.
100%. Yep. Because I
get that.
That's the nature of addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
These well-meaning people in this government program are keeping me from doing what I need to do. Come hell or high water, I'm using.
Yeah.
Because I have to. For whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful that.
And we know that isn't necessarily true. There is a way out.
But to that person in those circumstances, that's reality.
That's reality. Yeah, you can't.
You know what I mean? That I'm so grateful that that I have a perspective that is not that, but I totally get.
Well, back to Clancy I from Up in the Sky talking about walking over the bodies of people dying of alcoholism on his way to run the midnight mission in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like that's the reality of the situation.
Yep.
And he's like, I have a position and a perspective that most people don't have, which is that I literally step over the bodies of people dying of alcoholism every day.
And that's, if you've ever been to the mission downtown LA, that's very real. Like the Midnight Mission in LA has a courtyard where they do allow 7x3 plots on the courtyard of people to put their sleeping bag down. And you literally have to walk through this courtyard to get inside. I've been there and that's not metaphorical. He literally has to do that. If you get there early enough before they kick them out of the courtyard, you do have to kind of dance around people passed out to get into the front doors, because that's the only way in and out,
Yeah.
And he makes the point too, in kind of talking about that, recovery, and we're not just talking about one particular flavor, recovery in general, recovery rooms. It's like you can look at the folks like that, and it's like, it's not for the people that want it, because all those people want it. It's not for the people that need it, because obviously they need it. It's literally for the people that do it. They get on that subway car.
Yep. And that's,
yeah.
It's, and when you have a disease that tells you that you don't have it, it's very difficult sometimes to believe that subway car is real.
Yeah.
Or that it's the answer.
Right.
And now with the new generation of, and this is kind of getting in the weeds a little bit, but the new generation of like fentanyl and fentanyl hybrids, that's a whole new level of insidiousness that we can't even fathom, frankly.
No.
And we're going to see that's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it seems,
it's terrifying.
To not get too conspiratorial, it's like, this is some sort of systematic, there's a point to it.
Well, what there is, I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think that there's a lot of money in that fentanyl, and it's very easy to manufacture, and it's very easy to import, and it's incredibly addictive on a scale and a scope that has never been seen before. And
but it's so fucking lethal, dude. It's so lethal. Like I've known somebody that has died because they've thought they were getting one thing and it was mostly fentanyl, and it ended them. Yeah. Well,
and I kind of went down a fentanyl rabbit hole, I don't know, a few months ago, just watching videos, and was kind of focusing around the Kensington neighborhood in Philadelphia, which is kind of opioid ground zero. And it's just, it's devastating and tragic and horrible. But yeah, that again, back to, well, glad it's not me.
But yeah, that's the, it certainly could be. It's like, that is me. And that's the thing, I guess, maybe as we get close to the end here, it's like, from something as benign as rethreading your weed whacker.
Yeah.
Or thinking you're the hero fixing somebody's thing and that goes wrong. Like, you have, like, the overarching umbrella or the thread through all of that is a genuine humility, whether you're on you're on the side helping or you're the one needing help. It's like, if we are so stuck in the story of our own ego and fear, then there's no way to help someone else, and there's no way to receive help from someone else. Right? Like,
word.
I see the connective thread through the extreme of picking up homeboy from Walmart bathroom to you needing 5 or 6 rings for your toilet, right? It's like, like a genuine humility and a realization that we can't fix it all. We don't have to know how to do it all, but we can try, and we can see the little thing.
We can show up.
We can show up. Right,
for ourselves and for others.
Yeah. And this is the thing too, like, as soon as I got really bent out of shape about there's no place for these folks to go, like, I remember, like, when we took that gentleman to the ER, the nurse, the intake people.
They were great.
They were so kind.
They were so kind.
They're like, okay, we know. They kind of knew, like, we've seen this before. We know where this is headed, but we're going to do it anyway. Right. It's like those people that are on the ground.
Yep. I was kudos to the emergency department at Bryan West. Those people, everybody we talked to was aces.
Yep. For sure.
They were all compassionate. They were professional. They were not at all shocked by the situation.
No, not at all. Right.
But they also weren't, gosh darn it, the word is escaping me. They weren't, calloused to it.
Yeah.
They weren't like, oh, great, another one of these.
Yeah.
You know, they were the nurses were very compassionate and professional, you know. So hats off to them. That went as well as it could have, I thought.
Right.
I wasn't sure what we were going to be walking into. If they're going to be like, nope, get him out, you know.
Yeah. And then what would we have done? Because there's nowhere else.
You had a coat. I
had a coat.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, here's a coat and a blanket, man. I'm really sorry.
Take him to this is going to be terrible, but I'm going to say it. We could take him to the Oak Park Motel.
Right.
Oak Park Motel, where alcoholics go to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A genuine humility. Real, and be grateful for what, I mean, yes, the system could be better, but there are people on the ground that give a shit, you know?
Right. I think that's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
There are people that give a shit.
Yeah. Well,
I think my mom used to say, be alert. The world needs more alerts. Right.
That's good. That's good. Or like Fred Rogers, you know, like when bad things happen, look for the helpers.
Look for the helpers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we're going to see Ween. You got the tickets.
Oh man, I got the tickets, baby.
We're going to go see them.
We go hang with them Ween boys again.
I'm really excited about this.
I am too. That's going to be great. And we're also going to go see Sam Talent.
I don't know. I don't know who this is.
Sam Talent he's a comedian, author guy. He wrote the book. I talked about it, I don't know, on one of the podcasts called Running the Light, which is a fictional tale about the, you know, washed up, alcoholic, drug addict, stand-up comedian on the road the last 3 weeks of his life. That's
right.
Yeah. Let's go. That book was amazing. And Sam Talent, I've watched some of his stand-up. He's challenging.
Sure.
He definitely leans more towards Doug Stanhope than Jerry Seinfeld.
I'm here for that.
Right. And I'm looking forward to I mean, I'm like, oh my God, that book was amazing. So I want to go see him.
Sweet. Perfect.
Zubar. Yeah.
Sold.
Stoked. Yeah, I'm stoked. Sam Talent, Zubar, Zularius.
Yeah.
So we got some stuff coming up.
I'm glad that that's continuing because Brad Stewart was kind of the champion of that. I'm glad that's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't know him, but I knew, him by reputation.
Yeah, I only met him a couple of times, but he was always really kind to students that were remotely interested in stand-up. I would just send them to him and he'd give them the straight shit, It's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, rip.
All right, man. Well, that was a good conversation.
It was a good conversation. It's nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Of Houston, Texas. We don't only sing, but we dance just as good as we want. In Houston, we just started a new dance called the Tighten Up. This is the music we tighten up with. First, tighten up on the drum. that guitar to fall in on now. Tighten it up now. Oh yeah. Now tighten it up, boys. Yeah, now everybody tighten it up now. Now look here. We gonna make it mellow for you now. We gonna make it mellow now.
Don't forget, toot your hooter.